Money, money, money. Money, money, money. We got that fly, you that money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. Money, money, money. Money, money, money. We got that fly, Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. We love our black skin, our melanin, always focusing in on that money. We always win, money never thin, 'cause we hustling, always focusing in money, 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 money. We got that money, 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 money. We that fly Nubian money, boss talk, Tony, we stack it up.
Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Sierra Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood and Karma J. It just all depends on the day. And we just unveiled our new opening. So, of course, all of our queens are responding to that. Did y'all like it?
That's loved it.
Nice. That's good. I like
Beautiful, yes.
Yay. All right. So today we are talking about something that I thought was really, really, really interesting. Where is my opening? So basically, y'all, there's no opening there. So basically, I came across a video from reality star Mimi Faust. I don't know if you all know who she is. She was on Love and Hip Hop. She was previously married to Stevie J, who was a producer. They was on the show. It was a whole lot of drama. But I think she was on there for about 12 seasons. Oh, wow. She revealed that just recently that she regrets that she did not prepare for her moment. Basically, she didn't prepare financially for what was happening after the show was over. And so today we're gonna talk about that. Like, how do you prepare for your moment, right? If you have a moment, whether it's reality, whether it's something on television, whether it's sports, you're an athlete, whatever it is. How do you prepare to make the moment into something long and actually help you generate the generational wealth that I think we're all looking for? So we're going to talk about it today. I can't have this conversation by myself, so I've gotten the best queens in the world to have this conversation with. I am here with Dr. Lene Javette, who is our brilliant strategist today. Are you a brilliant strategist today?
Every day, boo. Every day.
Okay.
Every day.
All right. Dr. Angeline Dean, who is a melanated neurons communiverse CEO. Did I do it right today?
You got it. That's good. Yes.
Yes. And then, of course, last but certainly not least is Noma Lenga, who is a marriage, motherhood and money making. I'm sorry, y'all. My tongue
in that order. Thank you.
In that order. I had to say it a million times, but let's have this conversation. Good morning, queens. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to Fly Nubian Money. So today we are talking about it. I just want to start with our first round robin and just ask you, what are your thoughts on, people having their moment? Have you ever been in a situation? We'll make it personal right out the gate. Have you had a moment where you've made a whole bunch of money and felt like maybe you didn't prepare as well for it? Or have you had a moment where you've been like, dang, I'm coming into this thing, I'm gonna have a lot of money, and blown it, or maybe regret that? I'll start with you, Noma Lenga. Have you had a situation like that happen to you?
No, ma'am.
I know. I already knew it was. I was like, no.
That. Since I've been, I went to boarding school when I was 13 years old or 14 years old. So on boarding school in America, it means that you're really bad and your parents just want to get rid of you. But boarding school has a different context. It just means that you're going to like a preppy school and it's just not in your neighborhood. So you got to stay there and be a boarder. That was great because it taught me from a very young age to manage money because you had to be on your own for about 3 months away from your parents, and they give you the, the pile, and then you're on your own from there. So I will say I'm a little bit different. So no, I've never just gotten a bunch of money and blown it.
All right. Well, I have. Let's see. When I first started my business, I left my job with my 401k. So I cashed out my 401k. I got $50,000 in cash, and I was like, okay, this is the money that I'm going to live on to start my business. And so I thought that this would be enough money for the year. But being a first-time entrepreneur, I didn't understand that in addition to living money, you have to have running your business money, operations money. And so I was out of that $50,000 in 6 months. I was like, oh no, I did not plan and prepare for this appropriately. Luckily, I was able to do a crowdfunding campaign, make some money, and then I ended up getting what I called a supplemental income gig, and I used that like a job, if you will, to help me to operate my business until I could go back to full-time entrepreneurship, because I didn't know what all it took. I was not prepared for what happens after the 50,000. Going into it thinking that, oh, my business will be up and running and I'll be making money. That's not quite how it works. Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work like that when you're first starting a business. What about you, Ms. Angeline, Dr. Angeline?
So I'm going to say and be real honest, like I'm still preparing now, even though I've had like other small businesses that I attempted and tried. I know that, my family has businesses. So I did learn some strategies and all of that, but I still am preparing and prepping myself even now because the whole melanated neurons is taking off much faster than I had anticipated. And I'm starting to feel like I'm missing certain pieces. So, yeah.
Okay. So it does happen. It's not that it doesn't happen. I think that it's that we don't know when it's going to happen, and we want to be better prepared. I think that's the goal of our conversation today. So let's look at our first video. Oh, there goes our producer coming back in. Let's go to.
Can you hear me?
Yes, much better too.
Okay, perfect. So listen, guys, I don't know. My phone overheats when we get on or something with the lights. I don't know. But if it does, I'll go out and I'll just be out in the comments with y'all. But here let me just say that if I've ever been, I have worked on projects and received lots of money at once. And I'll say, I feel like because of the way we work in Hollywood sometimes, before I really start working in my business, I was still like producing shows. So I would work on, let's say, Big Brother for like 3 months, right? 3 or 4 months, I think. And we would make maybe like, I don't know, you make $30,000 just working the season. And then afterwards, you wouldn't work on a show until the next show. And that's kind of just the way the gig economy works here in LA, where you work on something, you may work on a television show as an actress. Same thing. You work, you get paid $150,000, whatever it is. And then after that, you are forced to live off that forever. And I think that's the conversation. Before we watch this video, I think, hearing Mimi talk about it, a lot of people are like, well, immediately when you think someone's on television, they have money. And, there's this huge misconception around that, where you believe that just because they have the visibility that they're actually make that money is aligning with the visibility. But there's a lot of broke people on television. Let me tell you that. To tell you that. Actually, there's more broke people on TV than like they have the visibility, but they haven't quite learned how to pair that with the strategy. Like, how do you use the moment? So let's watch the first video and let's see exactly what Mimi said, just so you guys can have some context to what she said, because now she's been, I don't know if y'all remember, she's gone through 12, 13 seasons and feeling like, okay.
And for everybody and anybody that wants to do reality TV, what you should do while you're on the show, make sure you set yourself up for after the show, because when it's over, it's over immediately. There's no residual income. There is nothing coming your way. There's nobody knocking on your door. It's the fuck over. So make sure you have something in the bag and you have something set up that you have
to move forward
with after your situation. Not even after, while you're on reality TV, because that is going to push you push whatever that you're doing further. So that was my biggest mistake. When I was on there, I was so engulfed
in the current
that I didn't set up myself for the after.
Yeah, I see this as a mistake that lots of people make. She said something about reality TV. I don't believe that. I think reality TV in particular, and if you don't know this about me, I am a former reality show producer. So I produced reality TV for maybe like 10 to 12 years. I worked in every facet of production, and kind of just worked my way up to story and creating story. So I understand how the process of it all works. But I don't think reality TV is a place for Black people. But what ends up happening is they bring in and broken and desperate people who are willing to do a certain thing for money. And then they give you this contract that's about this thick that nobody reads. There's not a lawyer present. There's, like there's fine print, all kind of fine print. It's not our fault if you die. There's waivers like crazy that just basically tells you they're not responsible for anything that happens on the show and after. If it has a bad if it poorly affects your life, they can edit anything. They can make you look any kind of way, and you cannot sue them for it. And then when it comes to money, you might get paid $25,000 to $30,000 an episode. Maybe. Listen, that's after a while, but they may pay you $2,500, right? Or you might be competing for just a stipend. I know for Big Brother, the money was like, if you win, you got paid $500,000 or whatever. But I don't know if there was a stipend, but they leave their jobs, they leave everything for the possibility. So you get these desperate people that want the opportunity. And like I said, even if they get paid $25,000, let's just say for 11 episodes, how much ever money that is, right? They have that to live off of until whenever else. So I just wanted to give you all some context and some foundation, right? For this conversation. Dr. Lennon, I'm coming to you first because, you are a business strategist. What would you have told Mimi if you were coaching her? What would you tell her now that she still has some type of celebrity, or what would you have told her during?
So I'll start with during. I would have told her, what's next? Like, everybody gets 15 minutes of fame. Like go into it thinking that this is 15 minutes. How are we going to monetize this now? Like right now, at this moment, what are we going to create? What are we going to do to monetize this moment right now while you're in it? Because that's when you're the most valuable. And then as you come out of it, what are we going to monetize then? So we would have two strategies, one for what we're doing right now and one for what we're going to do when you come out of it. Now, being that she didn't do the first one and we're at the second one, you can kind of see her doing a little bit of it, podcasting. I think I saw her and somebody else were sitting around talking about a podcast that they wanted to create. And I think she said she wanted to help people with relationship. I don't know why she chose that. But one of the names was Girl Don't Do It. And she was like, no, because I want to help I want to help men and women. And so she's trying to kind of piece it together. But one of the easiest ways to make money is to sell something that you know. So after going through that process, how about creating a course on how to get into reality TV? How to do this? Like based on what you have done, what can you create? What can you monetize based on your experiences? It could be how not to date a loser. It could be how to date at a high level. Maybe that. I mean, there's just all these different things that she has experienced in her life that she could use to monetize. And it looks like she's kind of doing that a little bit. Like again, I've heard that there's a podcast that she's working on.
Yeah. It's interesting because it all depends on the storyline too, right? She was dragged through the mud with Stevie. I don't know all the particulars, and Jocelyn, that's all I remember. And then when she was off the show, she was hanging from a shower rod.
Yeah.
Like they that sold some like a sex tape to Vivid Entertainment, thinking it was going to give that Kim K response, and it didn't, right? And so, No Malenga, what is your response? What would you have told her?
I didn't realize she was the sex tape lady. I remember seeing that.
You
a
remember
while
that hanging
ago.
from the shower rod with the guy? Yeah.
No, I do remember where the people were really dragging her and saying, "You're not white. Kim K can make a tape and get rich, and you
Yeah.
won't." I can remember that part.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was all over social media. But I just want to piggyback off of what Lene said, what Dr. Lene said. I'll do a shameless plug even for the Black Business School. Inundate yourself, stocks, bonds, investments, educate yourself while you're in there, because you're gonna have a lot of money. And actually, when people haven't had money and they have a lot of it, they don't really know what to do with it. Even if they mean well, even if they want to save it or they want to not be irresponsible, they actually don't have the knowledge about what to do with it. So inundate yourself with education about how to invest, how to buy, sell stocks, all of that. That'll really help. Then the other thing is, she used a good word. She said residual. And that was like, I actually learned that in network marketing. Like, oh gosh, it's been so long. I don't even want to say. I think it was 20 years ago. But anyway, they really pressed about residual and leverage. And residual is something that she should have thought about right from the beginning. Like, okay, what can I have now that's going to pay me over and over and over? And it could be something as simple as a book. You know, how did I get, like Lene said, how did I get on here? A book is something that once you've written it, if you market it well, it'll just pay you forever and ever as long as it's selling. And then the other rule that I publish a lot nowadays is sell something. As long as it's not the cookie, sell something, sell something. Okay, t-shirt. Like, this is one of my Christian sites brands. Anything, sell something, right? And the great thing about being on TV and being watched by millions of things is that sales is a numbers game. So you're already getting eyeballs on whatever it is you're selling, more than you could ever get anywhere, not more than any marketing campaign, because you're marketing every single time that you're on the show.
Yeah. Well, here's the
I
thing.
think I think
I
we can get a
also
shirt that
hold
says
on.
"Sell everything but the cookie." Can we get a
Yeah,
shirt?
everything but the cookie. Hold on. I
No,
love
everything
that.
but the cookie.
Well, let me lay a little bit more foundation. When you get on a reality show, the show, the network feels like they owe you. You owe them. Because here's the thing, I'm giving you constant marketing, so everything that you make, we own a piece of that. It's almost like a 360 deal with, with performers. Like, you get an opportunity, you're owned by, your contract says that they get a piece of anything that you sell, because you wouldn't be you without them. So, Dr. Angeline, when you are trying to keep up with the Joneses, you're on a TV show now, right? So that means you need somewhere flat to stay. You can't go back and live in an apartment. You have to have a nice car. You have to, live a certain, you got to have your hair done. You have to have makeup. You have to do appearances, right? But you don't get paid you do get paid for those things. But let's say you're just making $250,000 for the season. Now, that seems like a lot of money, but you got to use that money to, like, carry you over into the next season. That's if you get picked up. That's if you haven't negotiated your contract in a way that even allows you to do anything residual. What do you do with that, Dr. Angeline? Like, what do you like? You trying to keep up, huh?
I said, woo. So you're right. So what I hear all of you saying is there's that pressure to look successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm learning just listening to all of you, right? So I'm thinking as I'm listening to you, income is irregular in these spaces. So you have to remember that as well, right? So what I'm hearing is learn the money, learn the business of the money, learn the business of how you protect the money, learn the business of how you multiply the money, especially with that passive income where you can go to sleep and your bank account is still going cha-ching, cha-ching, that type of thing. And then I also think too, in this situation, detach your identity from the moment, right? So right now, all of this is happening in the moment, but what are you doing to plan for your next? Same thing that everybody else is saying. I think sometimes too, you got to be careful that you don't get caught up in that moment and caught up again in trying to look successful. And you got to learn how to manage the bag. That's pretty much what I'm hearing. Yes.
Yeah. Dr. Lene, I mean, I want to ask you that question because here, now that you've heard about contracts, keeping up with the Joneses, you might not even make, you might make 200,000, maybe 150. I'm being very generous when I'm saying $250,000 for the season. Understand it could be $100,000, and then you're locked in to that forever. Like they literally own your likeness forever around this thing. So you can't really use it the way that you should use it. What do you do with that?
I mean, there's other things you can do, right? You can collaborate, right? So you can go and work with somebody else, would be my assumption. It's not yours. But I think the bigger issue is the 360 deal, right? Signing deals where somebody owns a percentage of what you do. Because it's not bad to only make 100,000 with you. I think we're watching it right now with the Breakfast Club and their Netflix deal, right? You have this huge audience. You get to get in front of people every day. You get to do your social media, your YouTube. People are liking you. They're seeing you on a regular basis. You do this Netflix deal, and mum's the word, right? You can't be on social media. You can't do this. You can't do that. Well, how am I going to make money, right? One thing is a vehicle. The Breakfast Club is a vehicle that allows me to be seen in order for my popularity to go up so that I can make money over here. If you take away that ability, then it doesn't become a great deal anymore. So getting online or doing shows, if you will, on TV at 100,000, you got to kind of weigh the pros and the cons. I don't mind doing this. I don't mind showing up, but I still have to be able to make money other kind of ways. So I would have, writing a book. That's not using your likeness per se, right? Maybe you can't go and do other TV shows and things like that, but there's other ways to monetize. You can write a book. You can do different types of appearances, different things that don't compete with the thing that you signed your name to. You didn't ask for this, but it's Taraji P. Henson had this issue not too long ago with Empire. And when she left Empire, she fired like most of her staff because they did not prepare for what was going to happen after Empire. And when Empire was done, she didn't have any deals. She wasn't getting hired. She didn't have any work. And she kind of went into a lull. And so a lot of folks, celebrities and otherwise, prepare for what's happening right now and enjoy that moment, but aren't thinking what's going to happen after this.
Yeah. No, Malika, what if I know for Mimi in particular, she was typecast, right? She was her personality, because everybody, you cannot make a show without having a personality on there. Everything is contrived, y'all. If we have a show now, I'm gonna make like No Malanga, the bossy businesswoman, right? That has like no nonsense, right? I might make Dr. Lene the cool, the business chick that's cool. Like there's a personality, there's a framework, an archetype for each character on the show. And if you are the villain, No Malanga, I mean, what do you do with that when it affects your ability to make money?
Yeah, I will answer that question, but I'm gonna double back on what you just said. I was I was Mrs. Botswana 2011 and 12, and I entered 2 international beauty pageants. Then when I got off of the reign or whatever it's called, the guy who was running one of the pageants was like, "Do you mind if I put your name in for a reality show?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, why not? I could be famous." I was much younger then too. And then they actually did call, a casting person did call. And they had this whole list of questions and questions and questions. They had already decided who I was, because I think I was the only Black person they were calling. I was supposed to be bitchy, backbiting, because they kept asking like, so if somebody did something and said something, what would you do? And I could just see where they were pulling me towards. And I was just like, oh, no, Viola, oh, no. I was just horrified at the whole thing. And by the end of the interview, I knew they were not going to pick me because I was just not giving the right answers for them to be able to say, oh, yeah, she's going to fit into this. So in that instance, I actually protected my image. And I also knew that it would require me moving, and we were not ready to move. I had small children and all that. So it just wasn't the opportunity for me. And then I watched the show go on air afterwards. It was called something like Game of Crowns or something. And I saw 1 or 2 episodes about beauty queens, and it turned into exactly what I thought it would. They were bitchy and backbiting and fulfilling the stereotype. Yeah.
Yep.
I am very sensitive about your identity or whatever they frame you as, but I also see it as something that you can capitalize on. Like, I thought it was funny, you described me a certain way, and people who meet me in person are just like, oh my God, you're not like how you are on social media.
Not at all. Not at
Yeah. Oh my
all.
God, you're so sweet. You're so
Yep.
soft. You're so yes. So there is a persona that you can kind of have, which I learned a long time ago. Like, if you're going to be in media, if you're going to write, you got to take on a certain position and stick to it, and that's how you'll be successful. So you can capitalize off that. Whatever they frame you as, you can capitalize off of it and make product based on whatever it is they decide you are, as long as you're grounded enough to know who you actually are, and that this is a persona and this is a money-making thing.
You know what? That makes me think of Omarosa. So Omarosa was on Big Brother, and Omarosa is one of my favorite people. Not like it's like
See?
I just like her spirit. I like who she is. I think she's smart. I like she's funny. She's kind of fun. Like the way I look at you all, right? Like I would hang
Mhm.
with you. But on television, you get that TV Omarosa. I wouldn't hang with her, right? So you're absolutely right. You can do with it what, and then understanding how to like jump from one thing to another. Like when she walked out of the when she it was my last season of Big Brother. She walked out of the White House and walked into the Big Brother house, and because she just like that how her brain works. And so I just thought I thought that was badass, right? But a lot of people don't know how to do that, and no, and don't know how to frame. But let's watch this next video. I was thinking, I did want to say this to you, no Malinga. So when it was 20 years ago, because it was '06, and I just got into LA, and wanted and within the first 6 months, like I think MTV called and was like, hey, we're casting this fun new show. I think it was MTV. It might have been VH1, whatever. VH1 was like, we're casting this new show where there's somebody looking for love and da 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 da. And in my mind, I was like, dang, I wonder is it Diddy, y'all, because I used to like Diddy before I knew Diddy was like a creep. But I used to
Mhm.
love, love, love. I was like, oh, I wonder is it Diddy, like, or somebody like that, because they was like, oh, he's a huge star. Oh, and the only thing, he works in the hip hop space, and I was like, is it Jay-Z or Diddy or one of them, right? Not Jay-Z because he had Beyonce, but I found out later that it was Flavor Flav. It was so they called me for Flavor Flav, and that first season, so funny. Shout out to New York, who it was one of my homegirls, but um, it's so interesting. And then after that, I think they called me for Ray J too, y'all. Anyway, let's go to this next. I was like, yeah, not for me. Um, let's go to this next video. Yeah, I couldn't get caught up in that type of world.
To
Because once you
pay,
get
but
in
you
it, it's
stayed
hard to get
about
out.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 seasons. The math is not mathing. So Mimi from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta said that she felt it was unfair and she was making way less money than Jocelyn. Okay. And she felt like she was just basically a pawn in the situation. And listen, as somebody who actually is on reality TV, let me tell y'all something the internet don't understand. When we first get on these damn shows, most of us ain't thinking about contracts, okay? We was thinking about opportunity. Just happy production called your ass, okay? You like, oh, I'm on TV. Bet, you know what I'm saying? Like, you sign fast, you don't negotiate hard, you don't want to give no type of pushback because honestly, you don't even know what the show gonna turn into yet. You just want the opportunity. But here's where it get tricky though. Jocelyn did season after season, brought chaos, drama, memes, ratings, like, bitch, she became the show. Meanwhile, Mimi, like, respectfully, was given stable, calm, emotionally hurt, mature, responsible. And reality TV don't pay top dollar for peaceful. Reality TV pays for tables flipping, wigs shifting, and somebody yelling out, bitch, you lucky security is here. But here's my real question, though. Like, if you felt underpaid, if you felt used, if you felt like a pawn, why you filmed season 2, 3,
Because she
4,
ain't had no money.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9? That say she was on 12 seasons or some 9 or 12. Because baby, after season 1, like, you already know what you signed. Yes, the networks do come with contracts that be stiff as. Yes, they control a lot. But
If you an asset and you got a lawyer, trust me, them deals can be renegotiated. And this the part most reality stars mess up. The real money, it ain't about the episode check. The real money is what you build from the platform. Reality TV ain't about fairness. It's about who brings the moment. And the one bringing the moment is the one bringing in the money.
Period. Okay, so I can tell she's a reality girly because there's a certain personality that comes along with you get in to the spot and that's what you give them and they be like, oh, she's gonna be great, and they give you these manufactured situations and whatever. So this is what she just said is the reason why I don't think reality TV is for Black women. When Mona Scott or Jim Jones and Chrissy or Yandy, I know that there's a conversation about who started loving hip hop. It was supposed to literally be about loving someone in hip hop. Like it was about the love story of loving another person in hip hop. It was supposed to be wholesome. This is what our lives look like. It wasn't supposed to be flipping tables and beating people up and people sleeping with you. But like many things, that's what we gravitate towards. That's what we've been gravitating toward. The drama. It's supposed to feel like television, like a soap opera. So, Dr. Lene, what is your thoughts about that? Like you get into these situations and you have to bring the moment. And so we've seen this with Zeus. Like I sat and watched Baddies when I was getting my hair done, and I was like, I can't believe I almost worked for this network. When Lemmy first started the network, I was like, work for Zeus. And I think they started with better content and then and then Baddies took off. Right. So it's like, first of all, what do Black people want to see? Because they sat and watched Baddies all day. But I felt like it was just so low vibrational. And so I just think I'm getting too old for that. But everybody just fought and argued. That's the moment. That's the drama. So, Dr. Lene, what are your response? What is your response to just that? Like bringing the moment. The moment brings the money. So you have to become like a villain that wants to fight and beat people up.
I think that's only reality TV. If we're just talking about bringing the moment and the moment brings the money, it depends on who your target market is and who your audience is, because that determines the moment. I don't watch reality TV. I don't know anything that's going on in reality TV. I don't know nobody's names. A friend of mine sold it to me this way. We were talking about how content works, right? He said you have a plate and you have people who you have two plates. You have people who eat healthy. They appreciate what goes into their body. They're going to read the label. They're going to make sure that this is good for them. They're going to make sure that it's good for their children, right? And you have people who eat off of a plate. They'll eat anything. They like the fried chicken. They like the grease dripping off of the macaroni and cheese. They're going to eat the cakes. They're not thinking about their waistline. If this is good, I want it, right? And that's how life is, content included. Now, what he said, what will happen is people who eat this kind of a way, fast foods, they don't want none of that healthy stuff. Get that out of my way. I don't want to hear about your salads. I don't want to hear about your whole foods. I want to eat what I want to eat. People who eat healthy, we're going to have us a little bit of fried chicken from time to time. This is still going to be our diet, right? But we're going to pick off of this plate from time to time. I have a little dessert. I'm going to have a little, but our main portion is going to be eating good and healthy and fulfilling ourselves. And so when you think about it that way, you can create a moment that aligns with a healthy plate that dibbles and dabbles with some fried chicken, that dibbles and dabbles over here. But if you create a lifestyle based on this type of content, fighting, cussing, yelling at, talking too crazy, your life will ultimately start to say that these things are okay, and you'll start to allow those things into your space. And before you know it, you start living your life the way you see on TV. And that's no good and healthy for anybody. So I would say create moments based on how you actually want to live your life, who you actually want to attract to you, how you actually want to do business, how you actually want to make money, how you actually want to live. Because if you don't, then you'll end up in a case where, to your point, if you create yourself as the villain and all the things that come to you are villain roles, but that's not really who you are or who you want to be or how you want to live, now you are having to straddle the fence on who you really are and what you got to do to make money. And that's never a good place to be in.
Yeah, I love that. Noma, do you want to add anything to this? What were your thoughts on the video itself and the things that she said? What stuck out to you most? Uh-oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, it sounded like she was kind of being a bit judgmental. Like, listen, we all got this opportunity. You didn't use yours, we used ours. When she was going through one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, however many seasons. Even though the way she framed it was a bit mean and bitchy, she is telling the truth. I always say, life, marriage, whatever business, it is what you make it. She had the opportunity, and it sounds like she didn't use it the way other people used it. And I do like what Lene said, in that you don't want to use it in a way that you're going to get stuck spiraling down a disgusting path. But again, I can use myself as an example and say that you can have who you are and be very, very faithful to who you are. But there are parts of you that are extreme, and people like extremeness and drama and things. And if you can go to those points and it still keeps you authentic, that's fine. Because I realize that, I've been doing social commentary since it's been 16 years now. I've said a lot of inflammatory things, but I can still stand by them because they were based on my convictions. They were based on who I am and what I really believe. But I was expressing the extreme end of it. And that got reactions, that got people talking and whatever it is. So you don't really have to give up who you are and give up your authenticity, but you do kind of acquire the skill as you go along to see, okay, I think this, and I think most people don't think this. So if I say this, I'm going to get a reaction for this. So that's part of media, and being able to play the game.
So, Dr. Angeline, do you think that fame is a liability or an asset? Is it good for you, or is it something that, what do you think?
I think fame is what you make it, right? So it can be a liability at times, but even with the last question, it goes back to what I thought about before. How do you separate your identity and the moment? How do you know when is the moment? Like the lady in the video said, you went 12 episodes. So if you were their branding at maybe episode 5 going into 6, do we need to renegotiate our contract? Do I need to be looking at other brand deals so I can make my way up out of here, other appearances, what's some other side gigs? I love the analogy that Dr. Lene gave. So what do I need to do in this moment? And then as we just heard too, right? Like I still got to be me. I still got to be authentic. Is it time for me to get out now before it becomes a liability? Right now, it's an asset. It could be working for me. So while it's working, let's work it. Let's work it. Let's work it. And let's work on a plan to get us up out of here before it comes a liability.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me work it. But
people never reverse it. So
I think what Norma said, and what Earl said was, Mimi was a first. Like she's one of the dinosaurs. So you also have to take that into consideration.
Yes.
That those early 360 deals, these chicks today aren't getting those same kind of deals because the shows are worth more. They're getting more views. They found something they can monetize, and they keep pressing the button over and over and over again. So it's easy to say she should have did this and the other, but she was one of the first. Nobody knew what was going to happen with those types of shows back then. She wasn't making a lot of money. And by the time that they did, you have a Jocelyn coming in or different shows popping up, and it's balancing out. So and you had to decide who you wanted to be. At that point, your man left you for this other woman. What's your storyline going to be? I think she got a girlfriend for a little while. I mean, like, you just got to decide what you're willing to sell in order to get paid. But again, she was one of the first. So you kind of have to take that into consideration too.
Yeah, that makes me think of Top Model, right? We were supposed to have a conversation. No, Malenka actually requested that we have a conversation about Top Model, and we can work some of that into this because I think it's fitting, right? There was a lot of women on the documentary. You kind of saw some of the changes they were going through. It seemed like all the women that didn't make it were on the documentary, which has been interesting because you see certain people like Yaya or like Eva, or just Takara, the successful girls that went off and just like used the opportunity and figured it out, and the other ones that went home and was like, it ruined my whole life and I still get trauma just by thinking about it, right? Like you have that. So but I love what you just said, Dr. Lene, where it was the first, literally the first. So funny, real quick, random. But I worked for Top Model for a little bit. And I remember I went to one of the producers and was like, "Hey, so I auditioned in New Orleans. Do y'all have my tape up in here?" And he was like, "Yeah, it should be in the vault." I was like, "Aw, you know." I didn't work at Top Model for very long. The commute was just it had me smoking cigarettes in the car, but it was just too much. It was too much, so I couldn't do it. Um, but yeah, I'm just thinking about like that whole idea. So let's talk about social media for a second. Like people being able to literally change the trajectory. Like social media has become television. So now it's a difference. So can those old stars or old celebrities like figure out a way, reality TV celebrities or celebrity in general? Say you had a little fame back in the day. Um, no Malanga, can they dust it off and reinvent themselves in a way?
Absolutely. I think you can reinvest yourself at every stage in life. Like, I'm just accepting for the last 5 years or so that, I'm not the hot chick. I'm the auntie, like, come on, you better act right kind of thing. So you're still, again, like I said, you can still stay authentic, but do something according to the stage in life that you're in. No matter what happens, they had that experience. They've had an experience that some of us will never have. And that's valuable because they have insights, they have information, they have that, they say hindsight is 2020. They have information and they've had access that we haven't had. And that to some people is valuable, especially if it's people who are trying to get into that world. I think Dr. Lene kind of alluded to it, like create a course, or something, a mentorship program or something. I've seen some actors and actresses, and I don't know if it's because acting and being on TV or shows or whatever isn't really working for them. Then they pivot to, let me teach you how to get into the industry. Let me teach you acting. Let me teach you this. It's obviously not going to be like a hit, like you get the millions in a big show, but it's like a job where you have that kind of consistent income and you're capitalizing on your information that you have. And the great thing about it is you can't be young in doing that. You got to be a little more advanced in age. You got to be in the game for a little while before you can turn around and say, hey, this is how you do it. Because I'm at the age where I don't even listen if a little 25-year-old come on and say, let me teach you. I'm like, please.
Oh my God. Wait, Noma, I saw a post of yours. You did a weight loss post and I was reading it and you said, if you are under 40,
I'll block you if you're under 40.
I was like, playing no games. You is young and single. Don't talk to me. Young, single, or no kids.
Talking about our struggles as women in our 40s. I don't want no 25-year-old saying, well, if you would eat less, you wouldn't be fat. It's like, shut up. No, that's not true. I don't want any children trying to tell me, with their little 5 minutes of experience, what I've gone through in the last 40 plus years. No.
Especially if they ain't never have a hot flash.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Wake up sweating at night and you can tell me about my experience.
Listen, you still sleeping cool and breezy.
See, you've got a bunch of grannies here. You see, all of you understand.
Yes.
Girl.
No joke.
As Dr. Lene, we seasoned aunties, even though I'm not a seasoned auntie. I don't play with that. But Dr. Lene, you want to add something to social media? Because I think social media now is a game changer. Really, social media is a game changer for everybody. I saw Anonymous said in the comments that social media is different. And I wonder, how is social media different? Anonymous, tell us that. But Dr. Lene, do you want to weigh? Is social media different?
Social media is different. You know what? He said something else up top I was going to talk about. He said, I love New York, reality TV. He said something about nobody has done anything of, okay, bro, no one from reality TV has gone on to be really relevant. The lies you tell, Anonymous. Cardi B has figured out how to fix her teeth and her reputation and build a business and a brand. She wasn't even a main character. I don't know what show she was on, and I don't know what it was about.
Love and Hip Hop.
I know she wasn't. Okay, Love and Hip Hop. But she wasn't even a main character. So to get to where she is based off of that, she wouldn't have done it any other way. She could not have walked into a studio and created the brand that she has. The only reason she has the brand that she has is based on that show, because she's not the best rapper. She's not really talking about anything, in my opinion.
She had a following first. She had a social media following first. and then it
Before
attracted them. So it was the other way around. She was the girl. She was using all that personality on social media, and then
to get
Love and
on
Hip
to
Hop
Love and
came
Hip Hop.
along. Yep.
And then so she was a mainstay, but from there, then she went on. Okay, so all that to say, yes, you can build something off of social media. Yes, social media is a powerhouse. Social media is almost more powerful than TV because they're literally plucking people off of social media and putting them into TV. They're finding people on social media. People are creating their own business and brands. Like Shannon Sharp, of course, he wanted that $100 million from the network, but he is not. He ain't crying. He fine because he has his own brand. You can create your own show. Look at Joy Reid. Like, folks, it used to be, Masters, I got to keep this job. Don't fire me, please. I need this. Now it's deuces. I'll go over here and start my own thing. And they still do the same thing. Is it the same numbers? Maybe not, but you have creative control. You don't got to tap dance. You can come and go as you want to. You can say what you want to say. I saw her on, I think it's Africa 54 with Godfrey and this other dude cussing. I was like, okay, Joy, let him know. Tell him. Like, it was a really good interview. And it's like you get to be yourself once you leave corporate behind, once you don't have to tap dance. And so social media is powerful. People get to get out here and be themselves, do what they want, work for yourself, your own hours. It's just a beautiful thing. So yes, social media is very powerful.
Yeah, that reminds me of Don Lemon. I love Don Lemon on social media as opposed to him being, now he can drink and get on the internet and be like, listen, Dr. Angeline, do you want to add anything to that before I go to this next video?
Yeah, it's freedom. Social media could be freedom. Well, what does freedom look like? Your own independent whatever on social media. I think about Dr. Lene. I think about all of these political pundits that have their own show. They don't have to bow. They don't have to do anything. They can say whatever they want to say. They don't have to agree. They don't have to talk about one specific group and lie because they probably don't think of it either. Because if they don't say it, then they don't have a job. Oh, absolutely not. To me, social media looks like freedom, independent.
I'll give you an example. Candace Owens. To some people, some folks, people will be like, she has the #1 podcast in the world. I had to look it up because when somebody told me, I didn't believe them. I was like, ain't no way. The #1 podcast in the world. So Anonymous was saying people have to like you. They don't have to like you. Because even if they don't like you, they'll tune in. Kevin Samuels wasn't popular because people liked him. Kevin Samuels was popular because he gave the show. People who didn't like him tuned in, and people who liked him tuned in. If you didn't like him, you tuned in to see what he was going to say, how he was going to.
Same with Candace.
The exact same with Candace. It's not that people like her or love her. The people who do, but the people who don't, they show up too. And that's how you really go far, when the people who love you and the people who hate you show up for you.
Yeah, we're talking.
I listened to Candace before we came here.
Who she is. Candace sticks to her principles.
What happened? What did you say, Nomalinga?
I was saying with Candace also, she's very faithful to who she is and what she believes, and she doesn't care how you feel or whatever. She just sticks to it, and that has catapulted her to the #1 spot.
Yeah, here's the thing. In media, the #1 thing, and you can take this for all of you out there that want to start platforms, you have to make people feel something. And so I think that one of the things that it doesn't have to be the most inflammatory version of yourself, but you got to stand on some business and know that you are going to offend some people. And so when you don't, like the young lady was saying, when you're calm and it's giving like mature and you're going to turn the other cheek every time, it doesn't work because people think that you are it's good for in real life, like it's calming for the nervous system, but it's no good for television to be calming and healed. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Let's watch this next video and see what I think. We're going back to Mimi, and she talking about the money.
It portrays our people to look ghetto and stupid.
People to take you seriously about business, coming off of Love and Hip Hop and all the different type of things that happens on that show.
At times, yes, it is. However, once they sit down and actually talk to me, because what Love and Hip Hop showed you was a small portion of me. They put me in a box, and it was really hard to get out of that box because all they saw was me yelling and screaming and carrying on, right? Hey,
Yeah.
we could hear you.
Yeah.
So they kept me in a box, right? now, when it comes up, I'm like, that was a fraction of my life. I'm talking about a small fraction. You guys were looking at a 2-hour taping, edited down to a 5-minute clip of what they wanted you to see.
Mm-hmm. So why? So if it was like that, how come all y'all kept going back up there? Was it the money?
I was
What
signed
the-
to 9 years out the gate.
Oh,
whoa.
9 years out the gate, which is almost unheard of. Stevie, Jocelyn, and I, all three of us, they signed us to a 9-year season cycle out the rip. So I don't know about anybody else, but I was tied in from.
but
day
at
one.
first y'all was thinking that was a good idea, right? We gonna get checks for 9 years.
No, I didn't know at first. I had no idea until my 3rd season that I had 6 more seasons.
Wow.
I had no clue.
Didn't read the
So you see
contract.
here, this is Mimi Faust from Love and Hip Hop, and she's showing you guys and telling you guys that these shows ain't good for them or good for you, right? She's saying it painted her out to be a way that she's not, right? 5-minute clip of all this filming made her look like she was a crazy person for 9 years. That's how long her contract was. So now this is what happens now. So you can't get no reputable deals. The people you want to be around gonna look you up and say she's ghetto. I don't know why you guys watch Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives, because it portrays our people to look ghetto and stupid.
Exactly. That's why I don't watch it.
Yeah. It's interesting because I remember when this is how I met Dr. Boyce, but when I first started the Real Network, I started it because I saw Deborah Lee. She said something like, Black people don't want positive programming. And I remember that it pissed me off so bad at the moment. And because I was thinking, yes, we do. We just came off, rewind that 10 years, 20 years, and we was watching Teen Summit and all of these Bobby Jones gospel. Listen, put it in the chat. What was we watching in the 90s, right? We were watching all this positive
Cosby
programming.
Show.
The Cosby Show. We were watching
World.
A Different World. We were watching
Living
television.
Single.
Family
Martin.
Matters. Listen, we can go down Martin. We was watching shows that had positive resolution. It showed conflict resolution. This is the one thing about television that reality TV is that it doesn't show you any type of conflict resolution. And then even when they sit down and be like, okay, we're going to talk about it, we already know they're going to start fighting. Right? We've given you liquor, not we, like they have given you liquor. They've given you an environment. They've talked to you enough. They've instigated the situation separately to put you in a room and know that like you, for a little bit, you're going to sit and be cool. But after a while, somebody's going to hit somebody with a bottle. And that is it. Like, that's it. So it really made me mad that they said that when Deborah Lee was like, Black people just don't want that. Because that's what we're watching. Y'all, why do we grab it? Has it been programming over the years, do you think? That's what I happen to think.
You make a
Why
good
do we watch that?
here because I've been watching on social media lately, and you guys probably have seen this too. The youth is going crazy. In Atlanta, they ran through some mall. They got it now where you can't be in the mall after a certain time, certain age. They're going crazy. They're doing these not mobbings, but like I forget what they call them, like flash mobs, places and cars. Like they are going crazy. I would say youth between 16 to like 25. But what they're really doing is it's art, it's life imitating art. Like they are just taking what they're seeing on TV and how these grown folks is acting, and they're coming together and they're doing it in real life. Our youth is crazy right now between 16 and 25. They are crazy. And I'm thinking when I was growing up, all I wanted to do was go to an HBCU. I watched A Different World and I just wanted to go to HBCU. I wanted to become a doctor. Like I believe that there is no programming that's on television right now or in movies or any place where they can see themselves shown in a positive manner. There's nothing. And then the stuff that there is, like what's the show I just watched with the Black dude? He played football and Tay Diggs was his coach. I love that little show. What was it called? It's on Netflix.
American.
What is it called? No, it's not called American. It's called something.
It is.
It's American something. It's let me see. Tay Diggs, football coach. It's called I'm about to tell you.
Wait. Y'all help us
All
out in the
American.
chat.
All American.
All American. I'm like,
All
it's
American.
American. All
I know it was
American.
in there, but I knew something all American, right?
Okay.
And you can see yourself, and it makes you feel like either I want to be an athlete, or I want to be a part of a team, or I want to go to college, or I want to pursue a goal. We don't have that type of programming, so we're broadcasting negativity, hate, animosity, fighting, stealing, and then the music reinforces it. So when are we putting anything positive into our young people that put something in front of them that says, I want to do something different, I want to have something different, I want to be something different? Like we don't have that in this generation and generations going forward. Like we have to get back to putting some positive stuff in front of people.
You know what's interesting? I think that it's you know what do you think about it, Dr. Angeline? Because I could go on. I'm gonna just go to Dr. Angeline because I was gonna say go ahead. What do you think?
No, so first, thanks for even doing this show based upon that comment. And I so agree. I so agree, because I just was watching last night with how the whole Houston rodeo had to be shut down.
Yeah. And it was young people. Did you see that?
Yes.
Too much baddies.
Absolutely. And I think too many of these shows niggerize us, and we think it's cute. I do think that the music is a main portion of it. And my thing is, how do you get them hooked, right? Like, these are some of the conversations that I'm having with some of the teens now, right? Like, why do you think that's cute? Why do you talk to me? Like, I need to know why you think even looking like that coming up in here is cute. Like, and then sometimes I have to ask the guys, like, well, tell her what you really think. Right. And so it's like having some of these conversations, because you're so right. There's nothing really out there that's pulling them, that's grabbing them, that's saying,
this is wrong.
What are you going to make up of yourself? What's your final destination? What's the identity that you want? And that's the one question I keep going back to, identity. And all this stuff keeps pointing back to that whole plantation politics. That's exactly what all of this is, right? Think about who owns the music industry, how they even make the money. Remember back in the day, we had all the political rappers that was teaching us something. Now, what do we have? They teaching us something, but is it worthwhile?
Yeah. You know, I just think that it's all about all about your palate, right? I think that we can be reprogrammed, but it's been I want to say the first reality show was Real World, I want to say in 2000 in New Orleans. I just happen to have been there, right? The first reality show was 26 years ago, right? And they didn't know what it was going to be. They put these people in a house, and then it went crazy. Was that the first? I think that was the first one. Right. So ever since then, we had never seen anything like this. And even in the beginning, it wasn't a bad thing. It was like, oh, this is what happens when you put people in one environment. It was a social experiment. And so I think over the years, you got to remember, corporations know who we are. They know what we watch. They know our moods. They know everything about us. So they're simply taking the things that we are known to consume and somehow create content around that. So I think it's been a bit of programming. I think just programming somebody. If I have a child right now, if I stop feeding my daughter vegetables, over a course of, like, for the next 10 years, even though she's 15 and has had vegetables, if I don't feed her vegetables until she's 25, she's going to have lost the taste for it. Right. So, like, what she's going to eat meat, she's going to eat whatever it is, but it's not going to be good for her. So I just think that we just have to be mindful of the things that we watch. I even listen to people and they're like, Love and Hip Hop is my guilty pleasure. I'm like, why is that your guilty pleasure? Why are you
because
noticing?
Most of the time they put in good stuff. That's like they like, I do. Listen, the Waffle House is my guilty pleasure. I don't know if those dishes are clean or nothing, but there is something about that waffle and those eggs and the way that they put it together with those onions that I'm willing to take a chance. I'm willing to go in there and take a chance. Now, I'm not going to drink out of the glass, but I am willing to take a chance on the dude back there smoking his cigarette over my grits. It's going to be okay, right? It's my guilty pleasure. I don't do it often, but every now and then I'm a dibble and dabble in it. It's the plates. I'm mostly going to be doing this, but every now and then, let me see what they're doing over here. Let me check this out. It's okay.
So, Dr. Lene, there's some people that's only eating Waffle House, right? There's people that's only eating, and to us, that is exactly what reality TV represents. I left reality TV not only was I crying in the cubicle, y'all, no judgment, but I was working on RuPaul's Drag Race, and I remember just thinking like, just over the years I've worked on so many shows, and I remember just thinking like, what am I doing here? Not only am I just a creative, like I should not be here in the office, but like what am I contributing to? Like what kind of narrative am I helping create for the Black community? Like what is it? How is this aligned with me? Like how is it? And so it was a lot of me just having to do some soul searching and figure out like this part of television is not for me. And I went on but you know, even when I went on and start writing, and I wrote a screenplay for Universal, I remember one of the producers came to me and was like, can you make this character gay? And I was like, I really don't want to do that because it's not gay. It wasn't gay in my head, right? So you just learning to just say that's a voice and that's a perspective, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm gonna just stick with what I know, what I'm doing, like with my perspective and my voice. So anyway.
But think about that, right? Think about that from even the plantation perspective. This is the crap that they did to us right there, right? They put all of this kind of stuff, dehumanized us. They made us look like, they did what is it, the blackface. They did, then you were supposed to laugh at it. Black people, think about the whole Willie Lynch stuff, right? And then how we began to, so it's, you're right, it's that programming. And now that we have been programmed and socially conditioned, we're willing to pay for it. We're willing to pay them to make them money and pay for it. And a lot of these young people, I look, my little niece, sometimes I just like want to snatch her up. Like, are you really serious? Like, and that's, you know what? And the first thing she'll say, well, I'm just trying to make that bag real quick. And I'm like, okay, but you got a kid now. So what, when your child sees you, what are they going to say? So
Right.
That's the thing that I think that makes it hard for this generation is they see everybody else doing it. Because when you talk to a person that's between 16 and 25 and you're trying to explain to them and you're trying to show them and you're trying to guide them, they're looking at what everything else is going on, right? Like, I don't believe you. I don't think that that's right. Or they say, that's your generation. That's not our generation. We don't do that in this generation, because they're looking at what's comfortable, what's regular, what's normal. We're not putting anything good in front of them. We're not showcasing anything. Now, if you look at the others, they have love stories and movies and all the different genres and the highs, the lows, and the wealthy and the not wealthy. They have all the different genres. The music supports love and relationship. What we got?
I think we have it. You got to go
Oh,
look for
but we're
it.
not talking about the small pieces. I'm talking about the majority. I'm not saying we don't have it. I'm talking about the majority.
Right.
Not where you have to go dig and find. We do have it, but it's not what's leading. It's not the forefront. It's not the thing that you see on a regular basis.
Right.
You got to seek and find that stuff.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Lene. If corporations know that we watch things that are low vibrational, they're thinking when it comes to making positive things that Black people ain't gonna like this. They're not gonna like a Black astronaut movie. We should make Get Rich or Die Trying or Power or whatever, because that's what they watch, right? So like I remember this conversation coming up when they made The Great Debaters, right? There's these movies, like people are not gonna even like that. We wouldn't saw it I wouldn't seen The Great Debaters at the movies, but it's like at this moment, if a movie came out about Black debaters, would people go to the movies to see it? Right. So I think that it's like would we? Would the young kids go see that? I wouldn't seen it. You know, I think we've been programmed, unfortunately, and I think we also have the powers that be, and I'll just say these networks, these studios that are saying, listen, this is what Black people are listening to. Don't make a song that's political.
Young people are listening to.
It's not right, but it's not true. But it's just it's how the racism is continuing. It's how it's perpetual. So I feel like we could have a conversation all day about this. I could talk to my queens all day, but we are late and I gotta wind it down. So I want to start with you know what? I'll start with we'll start with final thoughts, and then I'll do my women's Black history moment, and then we'll get on up out of here. But so let's wind it down. So Dr. Lene, what are your final thoughts around this situation? I want to ask you a question, but I also just want your final thoughts. You've said so many great things. Do I want to ask you a question?
I have a
Yes.
final thought.
You have a final thought?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I'll let you
My
roll.
final thought is if you do not want to be like a Mimi or a Taraji or whomever, it doesn't matter who it is, think about your next step. At the end of the day, we can live for today, but we really have to be thinking about what comes next. Like, how are you going to prepare? If you're making money now, how are you going to manage that money so you have money tomorrow? If you have a business, how are you going to manage that business so that you make sure that you have a business tomorrow, so that you make sure you have money tomorrow? We have to prepare for what comes next. How do you do that? Right here at the Black Power Conference.
I love it.
That's how you do it. If you are not signed up to come and hang out with me, Tiara, Constance Carter, Dr. Boyce, Athena Gardner in Miami next month, get yourself together. The tickets are on sale right now. You can come in as a general admission for $199. VIP is $349. If you use the code, I think it's your code is FNM100. So Fly Nubian Money 100 or FNM100 will save you $100 on general admission. If you use FNM150, it will save you $150 on VIP. We're going to be hanging out for 2 days, and we are going to be building out your CEO strategy. So we're going to be looking to build out your 5-year business plan. Ultimately, that's what I want to do with you. They're saying that Black wealth will be at zero in 2053. I don't believe that, but not only do I not believe that, we don't believe that, but not only do we not believe that, we're doing the work to make sure that it does not happen to you, right? And a lot of us are doing that through entrepreneurship. So we want to make sure that your businesses are strong, your business plan is strong, your business model is strong, you understand AI, you understand how your business makes money, you have revenue streams. That's not just one. Like, we're gonna do all the things. You know how to tell your story. Like,
Your
all
story
those,
is strong.
make sure your story is strong. And so join us in Miami next month. Use the code FNM100 for general and FNM150 for VIP.
Woo!
Make sure y'all come and see us. Listen, come on through. I would love to meet most of y'all. Like most of y'all. Some of y'all I don't know, but for the most part, I want to meet you all and see you all at the Power Her conference. Again, I'm gonna keep that down there for a second. Power Her. Okay, Dr. Angeline, what are your final thoughts around this conversation, and where can people find you?
So my final thoughts are I probably need to be at that Black Power
Come on.
convention conference. I do, because I did look at it. I'm trying, and I think I told you, Tierra, I got to look at the dates to see what's what, because you're right. And I started off saying this, right? My very first question. I still need to know how to do things. I did already hire a Black business coach. And I'm kind of done. So I do need a new one, but there are things that I don't know. So, and then I don't know what I don't know. So that's all a part of it as well. So it goes back to what you just said, sis. Plan, and plan for those things that you don't even know that you need to be planning for, but get into that space where you're with somebody who does know. Right, you're with somebody who has done this and is becoming where you want to be.
Yeah.
So I love it. I am Dr. Angeline Dean, CEO of Melanated Neurons Communiverse, one of the first identity affirming box subscription mini museums, really in the box, for ages 7 through 12. And yes, I am going to be sending you one soon, Tierra, before you say it. Yes.
Definitely send it. Or just let's do an unboxing. Well, we can do an unboxing on the show, maybe. I don't know. Let's figure it out. Just so we can see what's in the box. What's in the box. Make sure you go to intersystems.rocks, right,
Yes.
Dr. Angeline?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Intersystems.rocks. Okay. All right, y'all. Let me do some things before I say my final thoughts. I just want to hit you with a few stats, right? All right. It says about 49% of Americans say they live paycheck to paycheck, regardless of income. So when you're thinking about people making lots of money, that doesn't really matter, because if your month don't match your money, then you're going to be broke anyway. Nearly 78% of professional athletes go broke within 3 years of retirement. Many reality TV stars are paid per episode with no long-term contracts or benefits. The studies show that people who receive sudden income increases often spend just as fast. And last one, only a small percentage of entertainers successfully transition into long-term business owners and investors. There's only one person that I can think of that I'm like, man, they killed it. There's a
Matt
lot of people
Johnson?
actually.
Who?
Huh?
Who?
Not one person, but one person that makes me is Chameleonaire. Do you know who Chameleonaire is? The rapper. He had "You See Me Rolling," they hating, controlling just to see. No,
I know
no.
the song, yeah.
So he only made that one song, and then he went on to become this huge investor that's worth like millions of dollars. Like he killed it. Like killed it. Y'all remember that? Just see me. Anyway, so I'm just saying, just just have a plan. I think that's the purpose of just having a plan. Why is Dr. Lene looking at me like that? See? Anonymous know what I'm talking about. Okay, y'all. Let's oh, lastly. I feel like I've been just here talking. All right. So Clara is our Clara. Let me find the oh my god. All right, Clara Brown, a formerly enslaved woman, became a successful entrepreneur during the gold rush era in Colorado. She built wealth through cooking, laundry services, and investing in property, then used the money to help reunite formerly enslaved families. So we want to shout out our Women's History Moment is from Clara Brown. Shout out to Clara Brown, who used her gifts and talents to, it's not what you have, it's what you do with what you have. Sometimes we have these conversations. These are my final thoughts. Sometimes we have these conversations around when I'm thinking about the women that we talked about this month have had to deal with so many other things, right? They had to endure so many hardships that we don't have to deal with today. We can, like, literally, with a little bit of effort and a little bit of grit, you can build anything. And that's the amazing, it's the best time to be alive. So I know that we talked about reality TV and not being prepared for the moment, and my good sisters have said just plan. But I would just also just encourage you to be mindful of what you are creating, what situations you're putting yourself into, what your story and reputation is everything. So I would just say, before you let somebody else create the storyline of your life, you can control that narrative and control who you are and how you are presented to everybody else. So I would just say, make sure, keep it classy, keep it positive. That's what we need in our community: classy and positive stories. With that being said, I am Miss Black Hollywood. I'm also known as Tierra Williams and Karma J, all depending on the day. And if you are looking for me, I'm at Miss Black Hollywood across all platforms. As Dr. Lene said, I'm gonna be with her next month in Miami. But also, if you are looking to tell your story, if you're looking to start a podcast, if you're looking to really understand your power in storytelling, because I believe everybody has a story. It's a thing that God gave us all. It's the way we use it to really just take our lives to the next level. That's all you really need is your story, in my opinion. And so if you're interested in working with me, I'm at missblackhollywood.net. That's missblackhollywood.net. And I'll see you there. All right, yeah, this has been amazing. This has been so good. I'm not even going to do our outro because we are over time. Dr. Lene, just give that good little outro you do. What is it?
Wait, we got an outro too?
No, I'm saying like that outro that we will,
Okay.
and we will.
Okay.
Give your
I'm
little
sorry, I need to
tag.
see it.
Well, we will.
Okay.
But it's not done yet. So, Dr. Lene, go ahead and tell people what to do.
Go out, be blessed, stay black, and be one. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same